Hello everyone. Today there was an emergency meeting of Organization of Islamic Countries. So at first all Arab leaders got together and then all the leaders of the Islamic countries got together to see if they can do something about the genocide that is going on in Gaza and the West Bank. They took some pictures, they talked as always, but I'm going to read for you an article that correctly describes the outcome of this meeting. Today's emergency summit on Palestine in Riyadh paints a picture of a divided Muslim and Arab world. There was a notable lack of talk and planning when it came to what would happen to Gaza after the war from a security perspective, and disagreement on specifics when it came to Palestinian statehood. Furthermore, the normalization of relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia that was being negotiated before the war is likely still on the table. We have not reached a threshold moment in the Muslim world and Arab world where leaders will come together and say, this is a turning point and we will have to take a strong stance on Israel. As for the summit's calls for ceasefire and aid in Gaza, this will be extremely difficult for the leaders present in Riyadh to implement. They will have to wait and hope that Americans will put more pressure on the Israelis to start the extended humanitarian pauses and allow more aid to cross into Gaza. So basically, in a nutshell, it was just a bunch of baloney. It was some statements and with no concrete action, and they were just empty talks. That's what we call empty talks. And that's what the Organization of Islamic Countries are. All they do is just get together and spend tax money and oil money and build these beautiful buildings and just talk. It's all about empty talks. There's never any sort of concrete action, and they can never agree on anything. And this is the same with the Arab leaders as well. And most of these talks are to appease and calm the population so they can say that we actually did something. So I want to read for you these verses from the Quran. These verses are actually about the disbelievers at the time of the Prophet. However, the Islamic countries that exist nowadays, this Muslim world, is technically a manifestation of this verse at this day and age. They will not fight you even together, except in fortified townships. It says even if they unite together, they will not be able to fight unless they are in fortified townships or from behind walls. Strong is their fighting amongst themselves. بَأْسُهُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ شَدِيد. It's just they're in constant disagreement and fighting and wars amongst themselves. Thou wouldst think they were united. So if you looked at them, you would imagine that these people are united, but their hearts are so divided. That is because they are a people devoid of wisdom. These are a people who don't think, they don't ponder, they're devoid of the power of reasoning and thinking and wisdom. So this is the example of all these Islamic countries combined together. Their problems amongst themselves is so much, and they're engaged in so much wars and conflict amongst themselves, they can never agree to do anything. Let me tell you what's going on. This is the country of Egypt. This is Saudi Arabia. This is Jordan. This is Syria. This is Iraq. I'm going to show it as IQ. This is Iran. I'm going to show it as IR. And this is Turkey. Right? So all these countries, what they are worried about is if the other one gains control of this area. Because this is actually a very strategically important area. You gain direct access to the Mediterranean Sea. So Jordanians are worried and concerned if Egyptians become successful here. Egyptians are worried if Jordanians gain influence here. The same with Syrians, and they're all worried if Turkey comes down and just captures this area. And that's why they're also really worried that Iran has influence in Iraq and in Syria. And so the same with Saudis. The infighting amongst them is so huge. So they have come to this conclusion that it's better for the Israelis to rule this area so that they don't have to fight amongst themselves. And that's exactly why they got defeated in all their wars. Because before they were even fighting the Israelites, they were actually fighting themselves. It is ridiculous the way these people think. And that's why you can never get them to agree on anything, because secretly they don't want any Palestinian state to form there. Because what if that Palestinian state side with Egypt? What if it sides with Saudi Arabia? What if it sides with Jordan and decreases their influence? But right now, the Israelis are there, so they don't have to even worry about it. So that's why you never really get any sort of concrete action from these people, because their concern is their own interest, their own long-term benefits. They have no concern for either the Israelites or the Palestinians. Anyway, I just wanted you to see how ineffective, how humiliated, and how weak all these Islamic countries combined are, and the fact that these people have nothing, absolutely nothing to do with the true religion of God. Peace and blessings to all of you.